Good afternoon. There's a lot of ways I could record this video, but this is how I'm doing it. 2023 book bracket. My bias, I love books with trauma. I love books with trauma. The psychological torment, childhood trauma, like absent mothers. I love all of that. I also love magic. I'm a slut for fantasy, romantasy, magic, mythology, everything like that. I also did a genre challenge though, because my scope of books that I actually read was basically all fantasy. Moving on. These are the contenders. These are not all the books I read in 2023, but I started like putting them on Goodreads and putting them in my reading journal. So I started around July. I read 18 books, and because of that, the bracket is weird. I make my own choices. Anyway, to make this easier, there's a side A and a side B. We're going to start with side A. We have The Only Good Indians, and I'm glad my mom died. These both were 5-star books. I loved both of these books. So I read I'm Glad My Mom Died first because I was so excited for it. And it not only got me back into reading, like in earnest, but it also got my husband reading. It's a wonderful fucking book. And I admire Jeanette McCurdy just as I admire Stephen Graham Jones. I didn't shut up about The Only Good Indians for months. It was like the book that I recommended to every single person that I could ever talk to. It was wonderful. I didn't know I was scared of like 2 things too until I read this book. The internet didn't shut up about I'm Glad My Mom Died. It was excellent. I was horrified. I was laughing. I have one quote from this book that I have like permanently saved because right before I read this book, I ended up having my own mama drama. Thank you so much, Jeanette McCurdy. Thank you. Mwah, mwah. That all being said, the winner, The Only Good Indians. Moving on, we have The Lost Girls, a vampire revenge story. I read this for book club. And I also read James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. That's literally all they have in common, is I read them both for book club. I actually listened to them both as audiobooks. It's lesbian vampires. The men are evil, kind of, all of them. No gays get buried, but also like bad things happen because drama. I enjoyed it mostly because I was able to discuss it in a group setting and way less than, I don't know. I wouldn't read it again. It was cool. I'm glad I read it. I'm not going to revisit it. I admire James Baldwin. This is an educational video, really, but he's super cool. This book was very short, and I feel like I wanted something else from the book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, but it certainly is not my favorite book when it comes to cultural critique or societal critique or a biography kind of thing. Like, it just felt it just didn't hit right. The winner between these two is fucking obvious. The Fire Next Time, because I would read this again. Now we have The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka and The Two Towers. They're both rereads, and both of these have been very influential in my life. I don't know why that animation is so slow. Anyway, I'm in love with Kafka. It, like, for all his terror and torture, he reminds me of this kind of version of a troubled man that doesn't really seem to exist in my world anymore. This book is a 5 stars, with the exception that for however many times I reread it, I don't understand the ending. I don't understand what happens. Don't tell me. I'm just going to keep reading it until I fucking get it, okay? And then honestly, to be honest, this is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie and book. I'm not arguing with anybody, okay? This is my opinion. It's so fun, and I can't believe how much I forgot since trying to read it in middle school. I don't actually remember if I finished it then, so reread might be a little whatever. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't really remember why, because I didn't write down notes, but it's probably because it's difficult to read. However, it's something I love to keep rereading. It's just a wonderful series. This one was a little difficult. The winner is The Two Towers. Moving on, we have The Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth. I think. I can't I don't remember authors. And then House of Cotton by Monica Brashears. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They both have substantial mommy issues, dude. Oh my god. And they're both horror, and they both have like moral issues in them. Like, was that the right thing to do? Are you thinking clearly? Um, I have never quoted a book so much as I've quoted Mother Thing in my entire life. I made several Instagram posts about this book. I sent screenshots of it to my friends. I I wish that I didn't relate to a lot of the things that happen in this book, but I do. 5 out of 5. Holy shit! I have never felt this way. What the fuck did they do to us? Is my whole thing with that book. And then what for House of Cotton? What? I ugh, there's a lot that happens in this book that like made me physically ill because it was just like either so traumatizing or just like such a horrible way to go about things. It was awful. The characters were fucking annoying though. If the characters were a little bit more fleshed out, it would be a 4 out of 5, but it's not. It's a 3. I liked it, but it was confusing. The narrative was very strange. I do believe that this is her first book though, so I'm watching out for you. The winner, Mother Thing. Then we have The Death of Jane Lawrence and The Younger Wife. These are both new reads, and I read them both like individually in one day. That doesn't happen very often. Um, they both came recommended to me on Libby as well, so I just borrowed them as ebooks from the library. Uh, Fuck me up with gothic Edwardian bullshit. That is so wonderful. I didn't even read the like description of it before I what is it called? I didn't even read the description of it before I checked it out. I just picked it because of the cover art. It's really cool. Fuck me to tears. The only part that makes this a 4 out of 5 instead of a 5 out of 5 is that the ending was fucking rude, and I also saw a few typos in the ebook. I want a sequel. I want a sequel. I want more. I want more. I don't even care if it's a sequel. I want like a prequel. I want to know more about the fucking lady in it. No spoilers, but there's a lady, and she's super cool. This book left me feeling so vindicated, but Sally Hepworth, please stop dropping in little sprinkles of trauma and not addressing it. That was very uncomfortable. Like, I would just hear about something that happened to one of the characters, and I was like, so we're just gonna gloss over that? Very cool. I get that I'm supposed to assume that like everybody who is narrating at whatever point, like it's to show their bias. But come on, fuck gaslighters, fuck dementia, and fuck yeah, women supporting women. Loved it. The winner between those two is The Death of Jane Lawrence because I want to reread it like now. Like I'm jealous of my past self because they were reading this book. The side A round 1 winners. So we cut it in half. Now it's an odd number, by the way. Side B. This hurts me. I want you to be aware of that. So we have J.R. Ward Dark Lover and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They don't have anything in common except I read them at the same time. For Dark Lover, I love that world, the like Black Dagger Brotherhood. I love stupid little vampires, and I love all the weird words that they use. Like there's a little dictionary in the back, and the sex scenes are pretty cool. It's 4 out of 5 stars, only losing 1 star because Joe is fucking dumb, and I don't like cops. ACAB. So reading something this old takes a while to get into. It really does. I straight think it was the first book to reach as far as it did regarding medicine and like mental health stuff. I loved it, but I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker is not real. The winner between the two, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And now, I don't even want to talk about it. A Stranger in Your Own City versus Adelaide. I read these. This is the book I read, and this is the book I read to try and cleanse my mind. One after the other. Oh my God. GAA, who is the author, he's a wonderful writer. And I think this book was gruesome and very cavalier in describing the atrocities that he was depicting. My heart goes out to anybody affected by the destabilization of the Middle East. You can put that on whatever timeline you want. Shit is fucked over there. 5 stars. This book, I could only check it out for 14 days, so I don't think I was really given the opportunity to fully process it. And then I read Adelaide because this was so heavy. After reading such a heavy book, I wanted a palate cleanser. I thought this book was going to be cute, if not like a little chuggy. But instead I was given trauma flashbacks and a burning hatred for Rory fucking Hughes. Eat shit and die, 4 out of 5, should have had her beat his ass. The winner between these two, A Stranger in Your Own City. What the fuck? Then Patrick Rothfuss, Name of the Wind, and Wifedom, Mrs. Orwell's Invisible Life by Anna Thunder. Oh my cat. I read both of these to complete a reading challenge. Yikes on fucking bikes, dude. I first read The Name of the Wind in 2015, and it still stands as like an immersive and lovely story. I wanted to read Wise Man's Fear, but I was worried that I'd forgotten a lot, and I did. So 5 out of 5, love it, and it also got me itching to play more music, because who wouldn't want to travel around with a whole bunch of cool people and play music and perform? That's just really cool. It is unfortunate what happens, but it was really nice. Fuck Eric Blair. Fuck his stupid, fucking fake ass white with a lie. Suck my dick and choke on it, you spineless, egocentric rapist rat. I deserved way more than you could have ever offered, and her demise was sealed the moment you started. Fuck you, your work was nothing without her. 5 out of 5, but the author is weird as fuck for writing herself in, as well as continuing the narrative after Eileen passed away. That was a weird fucking move, dude. If you wanted me to hate George Orwell, you did it. The winner, however, is The Name of the Wind, for obvious reasons. Then the last books that I read were, this is The Marigold by Andrew F. Sullivan and A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Both of these books I thought I would rate a 5 out of 5, and I did not. The setting of The Marigold was baller as hell. I love the dystopia. It seemed so real. Like we're only just a few years away from it. It seemed real. I love the way that things were described also. Like it took its time being graphic where it needed to and like skating over some things. So it didn't feel like really bogged down. But what the fuck even happened in that pit? And also, what even was the ending? What? I'm annoyed still right now because there were points in time where I would go back and re-listen to a chapter to see if I missed something, but I didn't miss it. It just wasn't there. 3 out of 5. I love mythology. A Touch of Darkness. I love mythology. I love Dom Sub. I love like Forbidden Love. That all those tropes are cool. I fucking hate Persephone in this book, and 90% of my annotations were just yelling at her. Yelling. Being like, you're an idiot. What are you even trying to do? The spicy scenes were pretty dope, and I did save some of them for future reference. And that is the only reason it's a 4 out of 5. The winner between the two, A Touch of Darkness. Mainly because it had good sex. Side B round 1 winners. Ba-ba-da-da. So that's an even number. So be fucking nice to me. Round 2. Got everybody listed except for Mother Thing. Don't worry. It's going to come back in. Only Good Indians versus James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. One is horror, one is biographical. Both represent cultures being squashed by a system that hopes to just wipe them out entirely. Ironically, there's a lot of religion in both books. The social and cultural criticism is a very well done allegory in one, though. So as much as it pains me to like side with fiction, The Only Good Indians wins. The Two Towers versus Death of Jane Lawrence. Magic ties these two together. But style and depth bring them apart. You know what I mean by that? There's nothing the loser of this has that can compare to the winner. We all know what's coming. The Two Towers. Now, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde versus A Stranger in Your Own City. Due to an unfortunate use of the bracket, these books are going head to head. It would happen eventually, but one is real and the other is not. One is moving and complex, and the other is plain and two dimensional. I'm sorry, Doctor. A Stranger in Your Own City wins. I will do A Touch of Darkness versus Name of the Wind. These two intersect only in genre, which basically they don't really. Only one star is separating them in rating, and it all comes down to readability. One is timeless, and the other is not. Name of the Wind. Round 2, still standing. Back in the running because I had to put it in there somewhere. So I'm going to do like little, these guys, and then, you know how it works. The Only Good Indians versus the Two Towers. That's a little hard. They're so different that there really is no comparison. I must go with the rating then, which is why I'm a little angry at myself. It's The Only Good Indians. But it's fine. I'm not saying the Two Towers sucks. I'm saying I like this one better. So now we'll do The Only Good Indians versus Mother Thing. 2 5-star books that hit on horror, trauma, and writing style. They're both baller in that area. They're so similar in like the blasé way that the nightmares in these books are described. Really though, I have quotes on quotes from one and a healthy love for the other. Mother Thing. Stranger in Your Own City versus Name of the Wind. This feels impossible to me. Both of these books bring up so much emotion, and I can't deny the consequences of reality in GAA's book. I have to pick where these two differ the most, and it's in joy of reading. And by those metrics, The Name of the Wind. So as you'll notice, I got rid of all of the biographies, and I just want to make it perfectly fucking clear that I like those biographies. I just only like it when fake people suffer. So here's the final round. Touches on real life horrors. It brings into question, like the motives behind why people do things, whether it's appropriate to be honest in all situations. Mental illness is a huge part, and like womanhood. It's a girl's book, okay? The supreme tonal choice, as well as the gentle descent into madness, is something that I really think brings this book to the forefront. And then it is a shuddering glimpse into reality. Like, everything that happened in this book kind of feels like it can just happen, which I know I just said I only like when fictional people suffer, but that's what I mean. This has endless possibilities for content that I'm personally milking. It's an underdog story, it's in a series, and you experience the full spectrum of human emotion, which you do not with Mother Thing. It's 100% pure escapism. I apologize if any of my choices have upset you. You can argue in the comments, but this is my bracket. So the overall winner of 2023 books that I read, having passed vibe check, literary analysis, and topic, is Mother Thing. And that's the whole slide. This is a 46 slide presentation that I did mostly just so that I could do it. It was for me. And I did ask somebody, like, I was like, how many slides is too many slides that nobody asked you to do? And I told him it was 46, and he said it was about 40 too many. Anyway, happy reading. Thanks for watching. This video is not set up great, and I don't feel bad about it. It's like 7 p.m., so I'm going to have a cup of tea and start working on my 2024 TBR. I love you. Goodbye.